welcome everyone to another episode of The Creative Minds. Joining me here is Nick. Nick, I came across your content on Instagram. I came across actually specifically one video where you were like, how to travel with the minimum cost possible, something along those lines.
Was it World Packers? How to travel for free?
Yes, that was the one. Exactly. Spot on. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, that's interesting. I'm very much curious about how people do that. You see a lot of people traveling and on a low budget. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Let me learn more about like that from you. And then I came across your page, and then you talked about travel and then lifestyle. So I want you to first of all just introduce yourself like beyond like what's on there on social media. Like who are you? How old are you? What do you do? Is content creation a full time? So yeah.
I'm Nick. I'm 23 years old. I have a job. Content is not full time.
Okay.
I've been making content since I was 9 years old, though.
Wow.
I built multiple YouTube channels to like over 10,000 subs when I was really young, but
Wow.
I caught on trends early, but then I got bullied in school. I was like 9 years old, so I didn't know how to like deal with it. So I just deleted everything. But it's been something that I've always made, came back to. But like I said, I have a job. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. I truly believe to be fully optimized, you must see a sunrise and a sunset in a full day. And that's how you should live your life, because you're able to do so much more.
Did you go to university yourself?
No, I actually, all right. So I was supposed to play baseball at the University of Tennessee in America.
Yeah.
And I lost a scholarship because I failed math by one point. Failed math by one.
Yeah.
The teacher didn't like it. But whatever. I lost my scholarship. I went to another college. I dropped out in 2 weeks. I just said, you know what, it's not for me.
Wow.
And here I am.
So what kind of work are you in? Like, what do you do for work?
So I manage like properties and stuff like that.
So you're in the real estate world, kind of?
No, not really. Like, you know what a towing business is?
Feel free to elaborate.
Okay, all right. So, like, if there's a property that needs a towing service, so like if people park there and they're not supposed to be parked there, they'll come tow the car.
Yeah.
It's called private property towing. I handle all of that.
And you did mention you started on YouTube at an earlier, younger age, and then you got bullied. Were you bullied because of the YouTube channel that you've got?
Yeah, it was actually. Well, all right. So I'm from, I don't know if you've ever been to the tri-state area. Everyone's like kind of attitude here is very like selfish, and if someone else has something going for them, they will do everything to try and destroy it, just because it's not for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People here are very jealous and stuck up. So yeah, that's basically why. I mean, now I don't care. Now people talk a lot, but I don't care. I learned when I was 9, you know?
Do you still get negative comments from people around you now with the content that you're creating? Seriously?
Every single day.
Why so though? Like you're adding so much value. Like what's the problem?
Great question. I think the same thing. I'm like, bro, what are these people talking about?
Right, like what are some comments? Like what is the worst comment that you got regarding to your content, let's say?
Someone called me a misogynist, and they also said I was racist.
Oof.
If you look at all of my videos, it has nothing to do with anything besides travel. They called me a misogynist, I think, because one girl asked a question on like if it was safe for women. It's like, of course it's safe for women. Just keep in mind that anything can happen to anyone at any place. You know, like, and then they just ripped it wasn't even the person I was responding to. It was someone else, like some random person just went off, you're a misogynist and blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, what? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But whatever.
By the way, if like this whole thing about like hate on social media, I've heard a lot of people especially talk about that too as well. People that I got on the show, but at the end of the day, it's honestly just a reflection of who they are. It's just like a reflection of their insecurities. And I think you're so spot on, and like realizing this at a younger age when you started YouTube and stopped, it's like you understand like it has nothing to do with you, and you know what it is that you're doing, and just continuing to have the faith in yourself, and that what you're doing is adding value. At least there's one person out there, and that keeps you going, I feel.
get a lot of love comments. I get a lot of DMs. Like a lot
Mm.
of people talk to me. I talk to my community every day,
Yeah.
whether it's the Discord
Yeah.
comment sections or anyone that DMs me. Like I answer it as fast as I can. Normally, it's in between like 30 minutes. I'll answer. I'm always checking my hidden requests just to make sure. Yeah, I mean, like I love talking to my community. So for people to rip like hateful comments is like completely absurd because people think I'm like ripping them off and all this. And like I haven't pushed one thing on my page that I got paid for that I didn't believe in. I've turned down so many things just because that's just the person I am though. I'm not going to feed other people stuff I don't eat. You know, every creator does that. And that's why that's another reason why I feel like I'm so separated in whatever content I was to make, because I'm real. I'm not doing it for the money. I do it because of the community. I love building a community and having people all over the world to talk to.
I think just to add to your point that you mentioned, like you're quick on responding, like honestly, like your response on the email that I sent you, you're actually very spot on, like on the go, and let's do it. Yeah, it's so engaging. It's like you really, I definitely believe that you continuing doing this to your community is such a, I think you build such a great community. Plus, you're building your community based on trust, and I think that's the only way to sustain a community. So, talking about like content creation, you're always into content creation. Why did you start talking about like travel and talking about ways to travel as cheap as possible and just showing us like websites that maybe many people have not been familiar with? Like, why that space?
I talk about travel because I feel like travel is what changed my life. I don't feel, I know. Traveling kind of takes your mind from here and puts it all the way up here just by doing the most like basic thing. You don't even have to like go all out. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. Like it's just the spontaneous and the curiosity of the world that sparks something in me that like makes me evolve so much. And I know it does to other people as well, because we talk about this all the time on my page. I don't know. I just feel like I started talking about travel tips because I'm really good at it. I have yet to spend $1,000 anywhere I've ever been, like on just like a flight and accommodation, obviously. But I have yet to spend $1,000. I'm always really good at finding stuff and really good at booking things. And I figured like most people, because a lot of the people I know, they're always like personally know. Every time I would post something of me somewhere, they'd be like, yo, how'd you get there? It's really not that expensive. So everyone uses basic stuff. I dig a little bit deeper. I like to dig deep, and that's when you find things.
So can you kind of like walk us through an example of, let's say you want to travel, or give us an example of the recent place that you've traveled to, and how do you go ahead by finding the best flight, knowing how to live in a place where it's not gonna like cost you too much, and also know that the places where you can visit in that place that you're traveling to. How do you go by organizing that?
Okay, so I could use somewhere as Los Angeles as an example because it's kind of very diverse with prices. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would check if I'm flexible. If I'm flexible, then I'm just looking for flights in a certain month that range in price, obviously, and I'd pick my best days. Normally Tuesdays are the best days to depart. It's like a less traveled, less busy day. And then Wednesdays are a good time to come home. So first I would use Google Flights just to get a base on price. Then I would dig deeper and go into Hopper on the app. I would also dig deep on prices there. That's normally where I book because it's really a bang for the buck with being reliable and cheap. And then if I'm not using any of those, I'll use Skyscanner, but it's a little sketchy because like if you lose bags and stuff like that, it's probably not the best place to book a flight. But if you're traveling without checked luggage, then all for you, do it.
Okay.
And then as far as the houses go, I'm an Airbnb lover. I love Airbnbs. I hate the hotel system. I think it's highway robbery what they do to people. Airbnb is the way to go. I check for places within 20 miles of wherever I'm going to be at the most. And then normally that would drop the price by half, if not more than half. And then you could go on Turo. If you need a car, you could go on Turo. You could rent a car for like $20 a day. So you're still spending less than if you were staying in the main city. Like, let's just say I was staying in West Hollywood, California, which is like 15-20 minutes from LA.
Yeah.
If I was staying in West Hollywood, I would be paying at least $500 a night for a house. But if I stay 20 minutes away in like Venice Beach or something like that, I could find something where it's like $300 a night for 4 people. So you're splitting that by 4 people. It's 20 minutes away. So then that opens up room on the budget for a car.
Okay.
And still save money. So that's basically what I do. Is just really good at budgeting, like money management. I've did it my whole life, so I'm really well at it.
So do you say, for example, for this trip, I want to spend this amount of money and then go on from there? Or how do you manage, like, how do you stay on budget? Because you're currently working and you also want to travel. So how do you do that? How do you manage your money?
In the summer is when I'm primarily home. I have a lot of freedom at my job, so I'm actually able to, like, obviously just pick up and go if I want. But as far as money management, I grind for a couple of months. Like, I'll work really hard. I'll save up as much as I can. And then those next few months are like, those are my traveling months. Like, that's when I'm on the road. I'm doing everything. So that's how I do it. A lot of people do it. Like, there's a bunch of websites that I mentioned that you can work away. Like, you can travel and work. You can start something online and work, so you don't even really have to ever budget because you're always having an income. But as far as managing money, I would say don't do anything that you really don't need to do. I'm a big nature lover, so everything I do is more than likely free. Like beaches, hikes, stuff like that. If I'm going out at night, I really won't spend that much, depending on the area I'm in, because obviously places are way more expensive than others. I don't really buy anything unless I really, really need to, or the budget allows it. Most of the time, it costs me around $500-$600 for house and flight. Normally, I would add $1,000 spending money on top of that, max, which I never get close to. But 1,000's a lot of money for 6 days or 5 days. Normally I go for 4 or 5 days. That's a lot of money for 5 days. You could do a lot with that.
100%. And do you usually travel alone or with a group of friends?
Normally there's like 2 of us at least. Most of the time it's just 2 of us, but some of the times there's 3 of us.
Okay. And do you prefer traveling solo or with a group?
I don't know. It's iffy. I feel like it depends on the mission of the trip. Like, if you're going to, mess around, have a good time, make some memories, definitely with a friend. Or friends. But if you're more so going on like a retreat style, like you just want to be submerged in a culture and experiences, then definitely by yourself.
And you talked a lot about like community and building community, and you like to like help people also travel too. Why do you care? Like, you could travel, just put pictures of yourself and traveling and having fun. Why do you care about staying close with your community and building that?
I started to travel, I was in a really dark place. I kind of found myself when I was on the road. I feel like others could do the same. I feel like the world needs it really, really needs new experiences for people. That I live my life being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Everyone is just so very comfortable with their lives and stuff like that, and they don't grow, and they wonder why their life is so stale. But they don't understand that you need to face fear, you need to be uncomfortable, and you need to do things you don't like to do in order to grow. And most of the time it's traveling. Everyone has not a fear of traveling. It's something that everyone wants to do. They just never take the move. That's why I care, is more so it'll definitely change your life. If you start doing it, it'll definitely change your life.
Have you, like, before you started like posting content online, have you ever sat down and thought, okay, you know what, I want to create this channel. This is the purpose of it. This is the mission. This is the what I want to create. Is
No,
this no? I just have okay.
I
Okay.
told you I'm very spontaneous. I don't really
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and that's my plans.
Okay.
Every video I
Mm.
make is filmed the same day I post.
Do you have at least a structure in your life in where there's one thing that is the same every single day? Or you did mention you wake up at 5 a.m. So I know that is like a thing for
Yeah.
you. Is there a certain time that you sleep? Is there certain foods that you follow, diet, something specific that you do on a
Yeah.
daily basis?
My routine is I wake up in the morning, I go for a 3 mile run. I'll cook breakfast, which is normally like egg whites. Then I will go to the gym. Like that's the same thing I do every single day is wake up, run, eat, gym. And then I cook lunch and go to work because I cook my food every day.
Yeah.
I eat like very lean foods, so heart healthy foods like chicken breast, turkey, salmon, mahi, a lot of fish, a lot of different non-fatty meats.
How long do you stay at work? Like when do you finish work and what do you do after work? And
All right, so I'm normally at work for 6 or 7 hours. I don't work full time. What do I do after work? I don't know. It's all different. one day I woke up in the morning with intentions of going home and going to sleep, and I ended up in Montreal,
Yeah.
Canada. So
What?
I don't know.
What? Okay.
It's really all over.
Okay, that was unexpected. Okay, but yeah, I actually love that you bring this topic up because nowadays, like everything you see on social media is that wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, breathe, walk. Like they have a certain structure and they talk about how important this is and sleep at this time and eat this and eat that. And then I think when you reach a point when you really become so obsessed in the self-development space, it becomes too much. Like it becomes too much to have to wake up to journal. I mean, when it was just flowing, I was like, it's very enjoyable. But when now there's a structure around what you need to do in order to be in your optimal state, that disappears.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, it's not serving anymore. So stop doing that. Even though it's like recommended and what people talk a lot about. So I really appreciate that you talked about this. Yeah.
I very much agree. I actually sometimes I run into that with myself if I'm like sometimes I get really toxic thoughts and I won't sometimes I won't run, sometimes I'll eat out for the next week straight. Like I try to balance it because the toxic mentality in the gym is horrible. And for people like I get it, you need to push yourself. I'm a believer in that, but a balance of push yourself and like you gotta relax because you're doing more harm than good.
100%.
You know?
100%. Yeah. So what would you do or how do you deal with negative, like we talked about negative comments, but also negative thoughts that go on in your mind, anxiety, stress, things that just pop up there? How do you deal with that? What do you do?
I actually suffer from anxiety, so I was not pulling a victim card. All right, this sounds nuts, but to me, I don't believe in it because it's not real unless you make it real. Meaning if you listen to those thoughts and then start panicking about it, you're making it real. If you're just hearing those thoughts and you know it's not real because it's not real, it's not real. Like you're creating a false narrative inside of your head. And if something was to actually happen with whatever you're anxious about, you're gonna go through it twice. So why even get anxious about it? If you're gonna already go through it, why go through it twice?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what makes me so spontaneous is like I hate planning things because of that. I don't like to think about it. If I just do it, there's no time for thought. I just do it.
No, I love that. I love how you said you don't have to live it twice. Like you're so spot on, why in the mind and physically too, right? And I think the fact that you said that you are aware of the thought that comes in just shows how aware you are of them. Because I think to reach in a state where you're not it is a whole other level of awareness. So what is your thoughts on being kind of the observer of your thoughts and not being your thoughts themselves?
Actually, like an observant person.
Okay.
If I meet someone for the first time, I'm normally quiet. I'm not quiet because I'm shy, or I'm not shy at all. I'm like a social butterfly. I could talk to a wall.
Yeah.
But, I'm very observant. So it's something that I took from the outside world and put in my own head because there was time for a couple of months where I fell into a rut that I couldn't get out of. But eventually I told myself every single day, like, the clouds always, I mean, the sun's always shining behind the clouds. I said that every single morning when I looked in the mirror. And eventually I just got sick and tired of letting my thoughts consume my head. And I just woke up and I would just keep pushing. I would do something. This helped me a lot. And do something every single day that scares you. Every single day that scares you. You should do it either first thing in the morning or right before sleep. Like, you should do something that scares you. And that made me grow mentally, because what that does is you're obviously doing something you're afraid of. You're going to do it. You're going to be fine. You're going to be safe and sound. But what you're doing is you're crushing the mental thoughts and anxious thoughts that you had before you did it, saying you're just proving a point to yourself that it's not real. It's not real. It's not real. And eventually over time, you build the mentality of like, why even listen to it? It's really good to acknowledge it, as you should, but to listen to it, you should not listen to it.
What would you say was one thing that you were once afraid of that you tackled?
One thing that I tackled was when I fell into a dark place, I developed like a bunch of fears that I never had. So I was never scared of heights, but when I fell into a dark place, all of a sudden I couldn't do heights. So every single day I would go to the highest point of wherever I was, and I would like kind of sit on the edge and like scare myself. And eventually over time, it's just build up a tolerance. And now I don't even know, I could scale a building if I wanted to. I'm not scared of heights.
So you've been traveling a lot. What would you say would be the best place that you've visited, and why?
Hawaii.
Really? Okay. Why so?
There's just something, that's personally the place that I went to that I think really changed my life, like really flipped everything around 180, which it definitely did. I don't know, there's just something about the land and just the lifestyle. The lifestyle there is like living timeless, and I feel like that is the lifestyle everyone should adapt, because time is man-made, and when you put your life on a timer, like you feel so horrible, because like you're like, okay, 8 a.m. I got to do this, 9 a.m. I got to do this, 10 a.m. I got to do this, and like, where's time for other stuff? You'll never find time for other stuff, and that's what made me love it so much. It's just the timeless like thought of life there is just amazing.
There was something that I really used to come up a lot in some podcast episodes that I've done earlier on, and I feel it was a big part of my journey as well too. And that is, I would say faith, and regardless of how you could consider faith in your own way. Has faith ever been part of your own journey towards more being present, calming yourself down?
The most important thing in life is to live now in the present moment. And I think being humbled by the world is also very important. Noticing how little you are compared to everything, and it makes you really grateful of a lot of things. See, everyone fights their own battles, but it's technically all the same on a scale system of like, just because, all right, let's use me and Elon Musk for example. Obviously he's rich, obviously. Me and him have the same problems. We have the same problems, just on a different spectrum, on a different scale. So everyone doesn't live in a now because they like to victimize things and like say like, oh, I'm going through it and blah blah blah, feel bad for me, but like no, like why should we feel bad? Like everyone goes through this, whether it's now or whether it's later. So I feel like living in the present moment and just realizing that all of this that happens is for a reason, whether it's building you mentally, physically, spiritually, and just being okay with that thought is the most important thing. That's what's helped me a lot too, is like being one with myself and being one with my thoughts as well. And it helps you change your mentality a lot.
So how did you come across that mindset? Like, what got you to get to that space of understanding this? Was it books? Yeah.
No, I've been like spiritual since I was a kid, and it actually happened as by like an accident. I remember very
Mm,
vaguely that I was at a kind of like a camp. We were digging in the yard, and
okay.
came across a crystal, like a real
Okay.
crystal, a crystal quartz. And I never knew what it was
Mm,
until later on in life. But down the block from my school was this
mm,
like spiritual crystals shop thing,
yeah.
and I used to talk to the owners every day because it stuck with me since I was a kid,
Mm,
and I didn't know what it was then
mm,
until I got to about 13, 14,
wow.
and I started realizing like all this wisdom that I felt like just appeared in my head out of nowhere. And then obviously my life experiences and bringing ups and stuff like
Yeah.
that made me more.
Who would you say now inspires you the most? You have someone you look up to?
Oh, not really.
Mm,
I like to inspire myself because I feel like it's good to take inspiration from other people and obviously make it into your own thing.
yeah.
But most of the time, I inspire myself. I like to. This is how my nights usually are. I have a beach fire and I look up, I watch the stars, I listen to the ocean,
Mm,
and I'll just have random ideas and I inspire myself just
mm.
by living my lifestyle.
So you talked about ideas now. I feel that you just have a ton of them. And is it always that you execute on those? And how do you keep track on those? And
Not always, not
okay,
always.
okay,
Which is really bad. Sometimes I'm a content procrastinator. I'll write
yeah,
down an idea and I won't make a move on it, and then you over time you lose like the love for the idea, and I
yes,
hate that because
yes, I know.
I've had so many good ideas that I
Yeah,
still think are great, but
yeah,
like I just can't get around to shoot them because I don't love them like I did, and it's just
mm,
that's what I
yeah.
that's what I ties into before, live in the now. As soon as you get that idea, get to work. Get to
Yeah.
work on
Do you think you would need now to take your life to a whole new level?
it. It's such a weird subject.
Yeah.
That question's it's not a weird question. It's a really good question, but it's like it's so weird because I'm one to say that money is not everything.
Mm,
It's not. I look at money as a tool or a
mm,
resource,
yeah.
obviously. I do not look at it as like that's what defines success. But I would say a bigger income is
Mm,
is something to grow
yeah.
with because in this day and age, this world, you need money to do those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or connections. So but money also brings you those connections. You are not going to
100%.
find people that you need to be connected with in a spot that you cannot afford,
100%.
you
I
know?
think you're so spot on. I think it's also like the belief that we have where money is not everything. And I totally believe that. But the older you get, the more you see like you can't exist in this world without it. It's
Without it.
yeah, it's like you need to get your basic human needs met in order to allow yourself to be in this creative state. Because if you're not, then you're always living in a state where you're in a fear state of am I gonna make it this month? Like I want to make sure I have my basic needs met, but this anxiety of worry, right? Instead of like thriving, you're kind of trying to
Yeah.
survive. So
Yep.
I think the perspective that you share is 100% accurate, but also like you said, money is really important in this time and age to be in. And the final question, so what is your definition of success?
How you feel about yourself inside, and it has nothing to do with money. I think
Mm,
success equals peace of mind, I should say.
mm,
Say if I was able to do what
mm,
I loved, making a comfortable income,
mm,
and I'm able to do what I want when I want, wherever I want,
mm.
is the definition of success for me.
And you say do whatever you want whenever you want. And what is it that you want?
Like if I went to the store and came home and was like to my wife, I don't have one, but I'm
Yeah,
saying future,
yeah.
if I was just like, hey babe, you want to go to Thailand in like 3 hours?
Got you. Yeah.
Let's go. We're going.
Okay,
And
whatever you
then
want
that
in that moment itself. Got you. Okay.
in that moment, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So thank you so much for your time. Follow you. Where's the best place to follow you at?
Instagram is my best place to follow me at. It's where I'm in touch with everyone the most.
Okay.
At Nick Maz. I'm also dropping a brand. It's called Born Nomads. it's so nice. It's so fire. I love it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm dropping the brand, and we're gonna take over. I'm telling you right now. My community's fired up for it. I'm fired up for it. It's gonna
Yeah.
be dope. I can't wait.
Awesome. Awesome. And you're gonna be sharing more about that on your page, right? On Instagram as
Of
well?
course, yeah. When
Okay.
everything's getting closer to finalized, everything will be on my page every single
Okay.
day.
Awesome. So thank you again. Everyone listening, I hope you all have an amazing, awesome rest of your day.